guys. So today it is Book Review Friday, and as the title says, I am talking about Red Hood and the Outlaws, volumes 1 through 3, by Scott Lobdell and various others. Now, this is part of the Bat family from DC Comics. Red Hood is the second Robin, Jason Todd. Many know Jason Todd as the Red Hood now, but before that, when he was Robin, he was killed by the Joker, being beaten to death with a crowbar. Then in 2003, Batman Under the Red Hood was released, bringing Jason back from the dead as Red Hood. In certain versions, he's the Joker's original alias before he became the Joker and suffered a chemical accident. There's many, many stories of how the Joker came to be, which is why in The Dark Knight, he has two stories of where he got the scars on his face. Because no one really knows how Joker came to be, who he was before he was the Joker. Now, this is a new adult series. This and Catwoman are new adult, which means there's some sex. It's definitely for people ages 18 to 30 versus Teen Titans, which is more teen, so it's like 13 to 18, or the rest of Batman, which are all adult series. Although Nightwing kind of reads more YA, even though he is even older than Jason. Now, in Under the Red Hood and in the series that followed this in modern Batman before the New 52, Red Hood was a very tragic character. He was kind of funny, but he was definitely a villain, not even really an anti-hero. He would be an anti-hero briefly and then become a villain. In particular, Batman and Robin Volume 3 with Dick as Batman and Damian Wayne as Robin. He was such a tragic character, and it was kind of hard to read. So it was really, really sad to see him, and every time they encountered him, especially Dick, would try to be like, dude, you have mental health issues, we can help you get your life back. And Jason had this self-defeating attitude, no, I can't, it doesn't matter. Well, in New 52, we get Red Hood and the Outlaws. In Volume 1, he runs into Starfire. You guys may know her from the Teen Titans TV show that ran from about 2003 to 2006 or so. Starfire is this happy-go-lucky, bubbly type girl. She comes from the world of Tamaran. She gets into fights with her sisters. This is not the same Starfire. Starfire doesn't have a memory. Although she did have her relationship with Dick that was in the comics that went as far as them almost getting married, because of her powers, she can't retain memories very well. She only has a few, all of them negative. She knew that there was someone who was really important to her, but Jason doesn't tell her who it is, and Dick requests Jason not to tell her all the way in Volume 3. Because he knows that that would just be extra baggage to know had sex with the younger brother of her biggest love, really. And now she has a different love. So he's like, let her live her life. She doesn't need to know. So their relationship has ended, but her story is much more tragic. Then they run into Arsenal. You may know Arsenal from the new TV show Arrow. It is one of the names. I'm not sure how it is in Arrow because I have not seen all of Season 2, least of all Season 3, and what's out now. So I don't know who Roy Harper becomes, but it's Roy Harper. Arsenal and Speedy are two of his different names through all the different years, the redoing of Green Arrow. But he is Green Arrow's sidekick. Arsenal has left Green Arrow and it has been down in the dumps. Him, Starfire, and Jason form a team becoming the Outlaws, where they fight crime without following the rules. Jason shoots to kill. Arsenal shoots to kill. Starfire blows people to smithereens. That's just how they roll. However, they do get wrapped up in some of Batman's storylines and keep coming back to Gotham. Volume 1 is just them getting to know each other and becoming a team. Starfire has sex with both of the guys and decides to have a relationship with Arsenal. Jason decides to pick up a new girlfriend. I gave this a 3.5 out of 5 stars. It was intriguing. There were quite a few sex scenes, and Starfire does not wear very much clothing at all. Like, here we go. Here's Arsenal and Starfire with the Teen Titans. Or See Starfire? Yeah, she doesn't wear very much clothes. It's just the reader getting to know these characters and see them start to form relationships. Volume 2 is much, much more different. Volume 2, we are transported to Tamaran because it is under attack and Starfire, as its princess, is requested. In fact, Tamaran isn't just under attack, it's been taken over. Jason is picked up mid-date, and so his date gets taken along too. It's this awesome space adventure, and the cover, I'll show you the cover right now. The girl on the cover, that's his date. She told him that that was like the worst date she'd ever been on, so getting picked up was a load of fun. We also learned more about Starfire's past, that her sister was forced to sell her as a slave, and so she's been raped and beaten and tortured 1,000 different ways, but her sister loved her. She didn't want to do it, but she had to. It was her sister or her people. One life does not equal billions of lives. It was Starfire who had to go. Starfire doesn't blame her for it, but at the same time, she's not quite sure she can forgive her for it. We get to see all this depth. Jason builds this cute relationship with this girl who's awesome. Arsenal is kind of there as Starfire's beau, and they're both considered Starfire's consorts because Jason slept with her once. Even though Jason has another girl, they're just kind of like, yeah, but you're really one of her consorts and stuff. It's a load of fun. I enjoyed it a lot. I liked that because Starfire was there, it's the same thing like the Teen Titans TV show where we get to see this space opera playing out. I loved it. I gave it a 4.5 out of 5 stars. Then we got to Red Hood and the Outlaws Volume 3. Now this is Death in the Family. I've talked about Death in the Family a million times because every Bat family member was hit by it. Even Catwoman. Catwoman's was much less. When it came to Batgirl, Timothy with the Teen Titans, the Nightwing, and Batman and Robin, it seemed to be brief. Now, there was a lead up to it and then it moved on past it. That's not true with Red Hood and the Outlaws. This one starts with Jason being kidnapped. We get to see his life. Because I've only really read Red Hood and the Outlaws, and I've only really seen the movie, I haven't really known Jason. I didn't know him when he was Robin, because he wasn't Robin for very long before the fans voted to kill him in Death in the Family. I've read A Death in the Family. I've read that, but it's kind of painful to read at times because we get Star Spangled Nightwing. It's just a weird read. I've seen it all the time through different Batman comics, through different comics with different characters, with the movies. It was a huge, huge event that defined Batman and how he treats his sidekicks because of Jason's death. Even him coming back to life doesn't change what happened with his death and how Bruce feels about it. It just meant that he felt even more guilt because now Jason's alive and isn't really on his side anymore. Now this is kind of spoilery. Again, this is volume 3, so if y'all are wondering, should you pick this up? Yes. Yes, yes, yes. I hope I didn't reveal too much about volume 2, but you got to pick this series up because of volume 3. This is my favorite of the Death in the Family comics. Nightwing's really sad. Batgirl's really messed up. Batman and Robin's a little weird. Teen Titans was enjoyable. Batman, it was very sad and dark and heavy. But this was heartwarming and it was so, so well done. I will link down below last month's wrap-up where I talked about it. This, we finally see Jason heal. He heals some of the scars from coming back to life and from being killed. Scars that he's carried with him. Scars that affected him in volume 1 especially. He transcends himself. In the New 52, quite often when you see Red Hood, he's a little bit different than this Red Hood, and he's very different from the Red Hood after this event, where he's very self-defeating. In this, we find out why he's that way, and in this, we get to see him overcome it with Bruce, and with Alfred, and with Dick, and with Arsenal, and with Starfire. I loved this. This is a 5 out of 5. OMG, I really, really want this. It's just so good. Okay, getting spoilery. Volume 2 was fun. There was the never-ending date with Jason and his girlfriend. She got really tough. Starfire's past was really sad, but it was heartwarming to see her interact with her family. We don't see much about Arsenal. We see some. Roy, we find out what he's been doing since he left Green Arrow. I don't know why he left. I don't know. We haven't gone into Arsenal's past very much at all. I keep calling him Arsenal instead of Roy, but whatever. Jason's flashback goes on and off and on, and it goes all the way up to his latest point from Volume 1. And you really see how messed up his childhood was. I knew it was kind of messed up because Bruce found him on the streets. In this one, he was stealing something and Bruce caught him red-handed right there, climbing out of someone's apartment. He like turns and sees a kid climbing out of the apartment. He's like, you don't live there. You're carrying stuff. You're not going to stay here. I'm arresting you. But instead he brought him back to Wayne Manor. Jason, his whole life, he basically was told he was nothing. He was treated like he was nothing. To his parents, he was nothing. Just their spawn that they didn't enjoy having. And he never really believed what Bruce and Alfred and Dick were telling him, that you can be enough. And that's why in Volume 1, he's compared to Dick a lot. And every time it pisses him off. Every time he's compared to any of the Robins, he is infuriated. You see that across all of the Bat family. But in this one, he finally sits and talks to Alfred. And then, after the whole thing, this is what I love, is it goes past Death of the Family and he doesn't leave the Wayne household. I saw this in the bind-up of Death of the Family, the novel, link down below to my review of that, where the Joker does something to his helmet, but you never see why and what it was, and did he actually do something to his helmet? He put acid in it. And so he put it on, and it activated and sprayed acid into his face. Bruce and Alfred had to do an emergency surgery right then and there in the Wayne Manor because they didn't have enough time to get him to the hospital before it seriously scarred him. And the whole time he's laying in bed, Bruce is sitting by his side. And that's when they have that heart-to-heart. I'm going to tear up because it was so beautiful. The person that reached him first is Bruce. The person who tears the helmet off is Bruce. And the person who sits there and waits for him to heal is Bruce. And he goes through this mental journey because he's been part of this. I'm seriously teared up because it's so sweet. He's part of this group, this magical group you find out in Volume 1. With those powers, he has to face himself, and he's never been able to do it. And he does it because he has to face his past selves and the Joker while listening to Bruce talks to him the whole time. And it's just so beautiful when he wakes up, he's holding Bruce's hands. I knew this was true, but that's when you learn this is before Batman Incorporated Volumes 1 and 2. Because Batman Incorporated, there's a bind-up version. I talked about this before with how Batman Incorporated worked in modern Batman versus New 52 Batman. But in modern Batman, they were right in the middle of doing Batman Incorporated, and so they had to continue it. This is pre-Batman Incorporated, because in that, Jason is working with Bruce, and you get to see him accept, I am your son. You did raise me for quite a while. You are the only father figure in the cosmos that I have, for real. His dad, most of his childhood, his dad was drunk and beaten on his mama, or doing jobs, and then imprisoned. In that, we see Jason as a Batman working with Bruce, which, until then, that was impossible. This is why. I love it. I've always liked Jason. I watched the movie first, and I felt terrible for Jason. And then I read Death in the Family, I've read Under the Red Hood, and I looked into more about Jason. He is less of a jerk than Damian, but the fans liked Damian more now than the fans did with Jason back in the 80s. They did not like Jason. They didn't like the way he acted. But I love Jason. I love what the New 52 is doing with him. Every volume it gets better. I don't know if Volume 4 is going to top this. I know Volume 4 of Batman did not top Death of the Family. But who knows? The future's looking really bright for Red Hood and the Outlaws. I can't wait to get my hands on Volume 4, so this is a must-read. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you're still here, please give this video a thumbs up. If you enjoyed it, subscribe to see more. Every Friday is a book review. Stay tuned for that. Good luck with your reading, and I hope you're enjoying all my Batman comics, and you guys decide to pick up some of these new titles. New 52's doing great, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye! Todd inside Batman, under the Red Hood. Blech. Forgot my bunny. It's still Easter-ish. I forgot to turn you on. I don't even care. It's childish for me to have bunnies and stuff. So it was just me getting to know these characters. Characters! My voice cracked. Under the Red Hood. Shut down on me like 8 times. In 2 minutes. God. Just film it. I'm in the middle of this.